Hey everybody, welcome to the R Show. As you all know, this is a weekly Sunday night show. Starts at 7 o'clock. We are here tonight talking about shipping with Mr. Matt from the Dino Dump. And as usual, I have my guest, Mr. Cool Toad, my co-host, I should not guest. Boy. And as you can tell, I am not on my laptop. Apparently, I was doing something to send some links, free, whatever, these guys, so I can make sure everything was working right. And the camera hooked up to my desktop fine tonight. So we're testing this. If you are hearing a double uh, echo or anything from me, please let me know. I'm not doing it with a headset tonight, like I used to on my old desktop. So thank you for all showing up. I look forward to your questions about shipping with Matt. And start with your introduction, and we'll go right to Matt for his introduction.
Yeah, I'll know that I'm Cool Toads, of course. I have a channel. Yep, it's Cool Toads. And definitely go to Facebook and check out National Resellers Society. No, National Resellers Advice. Oops. National Resellers Advice, eBay, Amazon. And join there. And I also have a page, Cool Toads Pad, on Facebook. I don't think I've done, I think maybe one thing on there in like the last 2 weeks. So don't expect too much, but hey, who knows? Maybe something will change one day. That's me. Oh, and if you're interested, on Tuesday there's gonna be a crazy shenanigans and not family friendly, not safe for work. As someone just said, NC21. On Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific. Come check out the what is it? Dang it! St. Patrick's Day thing. Yeah. Wow. That totally blew up.
Matt, before we go right to you, I'm being told by my wife that she's not hearing me. I don't know if anybody else can. So if people in the comments can tell us that they're hearing me, she's not hearing any of us. I don't know.
Okay, we can wait a second.
Well, I hear me, sadly.
She's using the laptop trying to listen, and she can't hear us on the show, but she can hear when we're talking here.
Technology!
I'm hearing it a little bit. Let's see. I'm not seeing any comments in the chat. Are you guys?
Yeah, can anybody hear?
I can hear you.
Okay, well, I want to make sure the other viewers are able to hear. She's not able to hear us. I don't know what's.
I'm playing it back on the what they're watching, and I can hear you. So.
Okay, well, then I don't know what's going on with her end.
They can hear.
Okay, they're saying they can hear us too. So. Okay, well, Matt, why don't you do your introduction and let everybody know a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So first, thanks for having me on. Obviously, I just want to say I'm a big fan of the R Show and everything that Sean does over on his Cool Toads channel. My name is Matt. I have eBay store and YouTube channel, and I call it the Dino Dump. Dino as in dinosaur, and dump is obviously a play on the junk shop or, you know, the garbage dump. And honestly, it's kind of a poop joke. I like dinosaurs. I like poop jokes. And, you know, I have a full-time job, and I decided I was going to start doing eBay to make extra income, especially after my wife and I had our little girl. She's going to be 2 in May. And I decided, you know, if I'm going to do this, that I'm going to try to have fun. So I'm going to, you know, put a joke in my name, you know. So introduction for me, you know, I graduated from college with a fine arts degree, and I was lucky enough to get a job with a gallery. I've been there for almost 8 years, and the first 4 years specifically, I managed their shipping and receiving department. So I learned a lot about shipping, obviously, and I spent 4 years hand making boxes and crates for fine arts and antiques.
Dang.
Oh, that answered one of my questions, but I'll ask it again anyway later if I didn't hear. Well, my first question for you, and thanks for coming on, and I'm glad you actually initiated this one when I asked for advice on ideas for a show. You brought it to my attention with your experience, and so I want to thank you for bringing it to up. How long have you been reselling?
I started almost a year ago. I've had my eBay account since 2000, and I was probably using my mom's before that in like 98 or 99. And so, yeah, I just kind of dabbled over the years, probably bought more than sold. When I got married in 2010, I was moving out, and we were going to move into a new place. I started to sell off a lot of stuff, and that's really when I started to build my feedback score. And what happened was is I sold out of everything, and I'm like, this is so awesome. I'm earning so much money, but I don't know, what else to buy to keep selling. So it just kind of fell off. But like I said, almost 2 years ago, my wife and I had our little girl, and I just kind of realized that I couldn't rely on my job to increase my income the way that I needed to. And I always knew that eBay was a backup, and I really wanted to give it a shot. And obviously I started watching everybody's videos on YouTube and learning and just, taking a shot at things. I think one of the thing that really started it was we were at the store, and I realized that like the toys were on clearance, and I'm like, hey, that's really cheap. And I looked it up, and I'm like, it was $8, and it was selling for like 30. And I'm like, if I buy one for my daughter and sell another one, like it's gonna pay for itself. And that was probably the first thing that really kicked it off. Yeah, and I just kind of everybody who does eBay knows that it's just addicting. So, but I really decided to just push forward from there and learn. And my store has definitely grown. I probably average around 160 to 175 listings right now, and I'm mostly focused on men's clothes, but I'm always trying to learn about new categories and experimenting.
Oh, you just answered my second question, which was, what do you sell?
Yeah, I started off, like I said, I was just selling anything that I could find, selling stuff around the house, which I'd definitely recommend that if you're going to start out, you just find stuff around the house to sell to just get used to how eBay works. And, like I said, I sell mostly clothes, but I kind of fell into that backwards. Like I said, I found that toy to resell, and then I went and there was a home goods store that was like clearancing. It was going out of business, and I found a bunch of stuff to sell there. And I ran out of that. I'm like, what am I going to do? And I started watching actually the Gill Money's videos, and I never thought about the thrift store. Like, I didn't grow up going to thrift stores, and I started to go there. And the Gill Money's had kind of given me the idea like you could buy stuff from thrift stores to sell on eBay. And I tried a couple different things. Like I tried coffee mugs, and I tried like what the Gill's Money do, partying out stuff. And I love coffee mugs, but I can't. The whole partying out thing isn't for me. And I started watching Rakin's videos, and I don't know. You know what? Clothing isn't for everybody, but it's just something that fit well for me, especially because I'm a part-time seller, and for me personally, it's easy to list. It doesn't take up a lot of room. It's easy to ship.
Okay. Sean, why don't you do some shout-outs, because he just answered my third question already.
Golden Finger Picker asked questions. Said, "Can I sell my kids? They're just lying around around the house." And Dusty says, "Yes, do a bundle." Pretty obvious. Awesome.
Yes, sell them. Well, you know, they're a little bit old. You know, it's better if you sell them young because then you can train them the way you want.
True. Tickled, yeah. Lost some of your investment there, Chad.
Yeah. They're awfully
Let's
obedient.
see. Yeah. Denver Flipper is in the house, and I sound funny saying that. The in the house part. Larry's Treasures, PA Picker Dave, Angie Martin, Swamp Picker, all in the chat. Kevin from the Thrifting Lounge is in there. And come on. Maureen, the Free Pile Picker, and I cannot talk today, so bear with me, and then all my things. And Roxy Curone, welcome. The Swamp Picker, did I say Swamp Picker? I think I did, but yeah, Swamp Picker's in there. Joseph Hare, Michael Baumberger, and of course, Alabama Pickers, Wade Rod. Wow, come on, computer. Damn. Get an HP. You'll love it. Kathleen Brown, welcome. There we go. Now I'm at the bottom. Yep. Thanks to everybody for joining, and pretty much everybody are loyal viewers. So. Oh my gosh, Picker Smurf. I totally skipped over him. So sorry, dude. No, I didn't get a new office, but yeah, I've kind of switched it around and stuff. Cool.
Okay. Well, I'll go back to my question. If you have any questions, please ask, and I'll get to them. Which do you prefer, reselling or your real job? And I say real job, even though we know reselling is a real job to most people, but
Yeah, I mean, I definitely respect people who do, you know, this for a full-time job. It's not easy. I mean, it's tough, you know, doing it part-time. And when I say part-time, I probably only put in, you know, less than 10 hours a week. But it definitely has been a really great side income. You know, I'm trying to pay down student loan debt and all that kind of thing. And just free up funds to pay for things like having a kid. So, in answer to your question, I guess, you know, I like having a day job for sure, but there is something that's so tempting about being a part-time seller or being a reseller. And like I was telling everybody before we went live, that, you know, I listen to a lot of the reseller shows like while I'm working at my day job, and it's so hard and so tempting to see haul videos and hear about people's sales, and you're just like, I want to get out, you know. I can't be working on this. I got to go to the thrift store. I got to list stuff on eBay, you know. It's very alluring, but I think that you know, I'm definitely a self-starter, and my day job affords me a lot of free time and leniency. So right now it's a good balance, and I think it's really great to have a backup plan. You know, like I said earlier, you know, I can't count on my job to increase my income fast enough. It's great to have this kind of as a backup, or if I were to lose my job, you know.
okay. And I'm going to kind of start heading into our topic in regards to you. What was the biggest or heaviest item you've had to ship?
I guess we should clarify. Are we talking about eBay stuff, or are we talking about just like my job experience?
Start with, well, since I'm still more or less personalizing it right now, you can do both if you want. But I know you work in the gallery, so I'm sure you had a big art that you had to ship somehow.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I focus on smaller things just because being part-time, I like to focus on things that are easy to ship, and but I know that just from personal experience, like I've shipped like 20, 30 piece art shows across the country. I've shipped like handmade wooden crates to this enormous crates to Austria. Shipped things all over the world, and through eBay and through my day job. But I've shipped just about everything you could possibly imagine. You know, every kind of thing that you would sell on eBay, and even in my day job, I have the gallery director to ask me to ship a piece of frozen cake to her son at college.
Okay. That's a new one. Yeah, I'm working on a story, but I gotta ship you a cake. Well, my other part was, what experiences did you have in shipping prior to going to the gallery?
I really didn't have any. You know, I had in college, in art school, had a lot of training in, you know, 3D work, you know, working with your hands, working with power tools, hand tools, and really that's what opened the door for me to get this position, is that I was comfortable with tools. And really, you know, it's an interesting job because, you know, everybody, when you talk about working at an art gallery, everybody thinks of this very high-class world. And really, I kind of have the most blue-class job, or blue-collar job in the art world, where you're getting sweaty and dirty and dusty and, you know. But I just learned so much just about, you know, shipping, logistics. You know, I've worked with UPS, FedEx, UPS, LTL, freight carriers, delivery services, private delivery services, you know, couriers, you name it.
Okay. Anything out in the comments, Sean?
Mm-mm. People asked, or Chad asked if you just laughed. But
Well, yeah.
Anissa Greenwald. Do what?
I said, yeah, I laughed at my own joke, and nobody laughed with me.
Oh, sorry. Oh, Roxy has a question. What's the best way to ship heavy glass framed artwork?
You know, a lot of people, I've seen videos on YouTube who say that you should just take the glass off. Then again, you know, it's really expensive to have new glass put on. There are some really great products. If you're going to sell a lot of glass framed artwork, there are some great products. There's actually what they call anti-vibration film. It's almost like a cling wrap that you put against the glass so that when it vibrates, if it does, first of all, it will kind of tamper any kind of vibration or flexing in the glass. But if it does shatter, that clean glass holds the pieces of glass so they don't fall down on the artwork and scratch or cut it.
Kind of like tinted windows when they break. They kind of just flop out like a rug or something.
Yeah, it's very similar to that, but you know, you don't necessarily have to have that. But what's most important if you're going to ship like a piece of art that does have glass on it, is I would recommend taking like some thick bubble wrap or like a piece of thick foam and kind of putting it against the glass and then wrapping it tightly. Because what you want to prevent is having the glass flex inside the frame, because when it gets to a certain point, it will snap. So if you can prevent that flexing and then wrap it safely, you know, you can look at any of the major carriers. They have documents upon documents and PDFs, I mean hundreds of pages, about what they suggest your packaging should look like. And usually they recommend like 2 inches of padded foaming around every surface. And honestly, if you're going to ship something with glass, I would follow through with that. And I would use a very heavy stock cardboard, like a double or triple wall cardboard.
So now I have I'd like dumpster dive a lot for my shipping supplies. And I found these like 2x2 sheets of styrofoam. Mm-hmm. You think they're about 1 inch thick? Do you think those would be safe enough, or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like for some? Okay, cool. Just there's another option that's out there. I don't know how much it would cost to buy those. I just happened to find like 10 sheets of it. I'm like, sweet. They've come in handy a lot.
You know, shipping supplies are very expensive, and that's one of the things I wanted to bring up on the show. I think it is totally okay to, you know, salvage for shipping supplies. I mean, even I do that. You know, I work in downtown Chicago, and I'll walk through an alley, and I will scavenge boxes, and I think it's an appropriate thing. And this is something I see in, the groups a lot. Is it okay to reuse boxes? And I think it is okay, but I think it's really important to make sure those boxes are clean. Definitely make sure they're not alcohol boxes if you plan on shipping USPS, because it will get rejected because it's illegal to ship alcohol through the USPS. And I've even heard stories of people, they get a box and they say, "Oh, this box smells," and then they leave negative feedback. So the product's great, but if your packaging isn't good, it's going to affect you. So if you do scavenge materials, really make sure that they're good and clean. And one of the other things I wanted to bring up on the show about packaging is your packaging it's part of the image for your business. Like, yeah, I know a lot of people say you don't get repeat customers a lot on eBay, but it's all about having a sense of pride when you ship things, and your packaging shows that you cared for the item. I don't know about you guys, but when I buy something anywhere online, like I'm excited. Like every day is Christmas Day. I'm like waiting at that, post box, just waiting for my package to come. If you get something and the person who shipped it to you, it just looks like crummy and like your excitement goes down. They're not going to leave feedback, and it shows that they didn't care about the item as much as you did.
That's kind of a reason I put the packing slips in them too. Well, two reasons. One, if it was another business that bought it, they might need it. But also, just it adds that extra little bit of I don't know, professionalism, I guess, or more of a store mentality, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely about professionalism, not only in how you handle, when you're selecting what service you choose, but the packaging is really important. It's all about being professional, and people can shop anywhere. I know a lot of the audience sells on Amazon FBA, but you get something from Amazon FBA, like it's professionally done. People don't have to shop on eBay, and if you are just gonna throw something in a box with no padding, or something's dirty, like maybe this isn't the right place for you. A lot of people are always excited about I'm gonna go sourcing, I'm gonna I gotta get things listed, but then they don't think about that third step. That third step is shipping, because if you can't get that item to your customer safely and securely and professionally, you're gonna have problems.
Yeah, definitely.
And for your own eBay store now, what shipping method do you employ? Like, I know you do clothes, but some people ship, priority mail, envelopes. Some try to say you should do it in boxes. Which do you use for yourself?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like I said earlier, one of the reasons I decided to focus on clothes is because I don't have a lot of time. Even though obviously I'm experienced at package and shipping, when you're doing it part-time, I really decided to focus on a kind of inventory that I could quickly package and ship. For clothes specifically, everything is stored inside of a clear poly bag with a thank you sticker on it. Everything's folded up neatly, and then when it sells, I will put it in a poly mailer that has like a self-closing adhesive label or a sticker on it. And everything I try to do is it's branded in a way, like my bags, because my logo is green on my store, my bags are green, and I put a little dinosaur toy inside, and my packing slip says "Roar, thank you for shopping at the Dino Dump." I get a lot of compliments. People said, you made my day because there was a little toy, just a little thank you. It doesn't cost me very much of anything, but it makes a difference when your packaging is professional. It shows that you cared about the item, and it shows that if there's a problem, you're an approachable person.
True. That's a branding thing too. That's pretty good. It's a pretty good idea. Yeah. On top of that,
But I do ship all sorts of other kinds of things, and I think it's really important that if you have something that's like an odd shape, I definitely, if you're shipping, it's all about being prepared because, like I said, you're excited about sourcing, you're excited about listing. Well, maybe not everybody's excited about listing, but you get it listed, and then it sells. You don't want to be caught off guard. You want to know, what do I need to ship this item, or else you're just going to be stressed out. And it's really, you don't have to be. You should be prepared. So if you sell certain kinds of items, really look at your inventory and say, are there certain kinds of boxes, maybe 2 or 3 different types of boxes that I can keep in stock that I can reuse frequently. Or for me, I sell a lot of clothing, so I keep a few different kinds of poly bags in stock. Or, when I do source something that's like an odd shape, before I list it, I will go and try to find a box that I think will it'll fit in, so that I don't want to get caught off guard, And even for me, it's good because then I can store that item in the box. It does take up a lot of space, but then it's ready to go.
Yeah, some people even go as far. You just said it. They store it in the box. There was a shoe seller that he had his whole inventory based on. He put them in the shoe boxes the USPS have,
Yeah.
And he had it all figured out, and he had a number on there and stuff like that. He had, his shelves, and it was lined with all his boxes. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a good way. It works for some people, and it doesn't. It's all about, what kind of inventory do you sell, and it's...
Yeah, he sold just shoes, so yeah, it definitely was good for him, but yeah, it's
But,
true.
I think it's really important that you do look at yourself as a business. And like I said, I think it is okay to scavenge materials, but I think that you should invest in shipping materials. You should invest in boxes and mailers. Please, people, buy a scale. I see so many posts where people are like, I lost money on shipping. It's like, buy a scale, man. Mine, I paid less than $20. I got it on eBay. It works awesome. It's a workhorse, and it will save you so much time and so much stress. And it's not only going to save money for you; it's going to save money for your customer. Or I think the earlier part of your question, Chris, was do I put things in like priority boxes or priority envelopes? And I do, but you have to do it very specifically or very carefully. Like I offer free shipping on almost everything, and I think people, especially people who are new, they rely on priority boxes and mailers, and they can be really expensive if you're not paying attention. It's kind of a crutch. Now, if I've bought stuff on eBay, I'll buy a shirt, and I've had people put things in medium flat rate boxes, just a shirt, or in like something that could go first class, but they put it in a priority envelope. And if you're charging for free shipping, or if you're not charging shipping, you're going to eat that extra cost. And if you are charging for shipping, you might turn off a lot of buyers because maybe like for me, I'm an educated shopper, and I can tell this person is going to put this shirt inside of a flat rate envelope when it could go first class. I don't want to pay the extra $2-3.
I actually have a video out there. You don't want to go, of course. You just have to kind of get an eye for it. But sometimes you can actually use your own box and still ship it priority and save a few bucks too that way. Doesn't happen a lot, but occasionally. I don't know what the difference is, but I've never had a problem with it, and it doesn't happen often, like I said. So don't go, looking at each time you're trying to send something out. But
I saw that video, and it was a really great video because it's a really good advice. And
Thank you, by the way.
No, you're welcome. It is really good advice. It's easy to just throw stuff in priority boxes. I know that they're free, and people don't want to spend the money when they're starting, but after a while, you really want to. It's a really good idea too. And yeah, you know what? When you go to print out your shipping, if you're doing it through the eBay site, click on that little button where you can see the breakdown. If I change the size, if I change the weight, if I change the service, you can save a lot of money both for you and your customer if you pay attention to the details.
But you did. I brought up priority. Like, I was also wondering. I know you don't now that you don't necessarily need boxes, but what box have you used in the past, the regional A or B, the most?
Um, yeah, those regional boxes are strange.
Yeah.
They're weird. I do use regional A occasionally. From what I understand, that like the regional A and B boxes used to be like much better prices, but now they're almost kind of like the same as like a flat rate box. Um, so I will very carefully make sure that before, if I'm going to put something in like a regional A box, that I'm not going to pay more than if I put it in one of my own boxes or just a regular priority box.
A couple people mentioned the flat rates are almost always higher than non-flat rate priority. So obviously, yeah, I got to look a little bit harder at my own stuff too, because that's good. That's good to hear.
Yeah, it definitely depends, where it's going to. If you made a sale to a state that's close by, you can get away with not using a flat rate box and still send it priority.
Anything else in the comments, Sean?
Nope. They're talking about beer and all kinds of stuff. So.
Yeah, I think Matt brought up the alcohol, so everybody has to jump on that train. Okay. Well, you kind of answered this question. For somebody that might have an eBay store that has art, how do you ship art? Like,
well,
there are different kinds of art, so it's hard. I say art, you can say paintings, you can say figurines are art. So.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of different things can be considered. What is art, but it really depends on the piece. Like I do, I sell like a lot of clothing. I do sell some like antique prints, and it's really easy to just put those like between a piece of foam core, and then I'll put it inside of either an envelope, like a poly mailer, or you can actually make just a sandwich with some cardboard and tape around the edges. And that's a very appropriate way to ship something that's like a flat piece of art, like on paper. On canvas, it gets trickier, obviously, because it's three-dimensional, and the stability of the canvas can be in question. You don't want it to crack during shipping, but you don't have to necessarily worry about glass breaking. So you could, you want to put something over the artwork that's not going to stick, because a lot of paintings are like oil or acrylic, and if they get heated, that if you put something on top, it could stick. So you want to make sure you have something that will release off. You can wrap it and bubble wrap, and then you want to make a sandwich with some really strong double or triple wall corrugated board, and then you just tape it around the edges. And that's the way we do it. It's professional and it's very protective. But when you start shipping large pieces and pieces with glass, not a lot of people are equipped to make crates. But yeah, I've heard like people like Dusty from Alabama Pickers say, go to your local pack and ship place. They know what they're doing, and I think that's really good advice, because you don't want to have something that's going to show up trashed.
That Danny Ackerman has suggested about like, because she sells a lot of pretty high dollar pieces of glass, and fragile mainly glass, and she says, if you get something, $200, $300, $400, it'd be worth going and having like UPS pack it for you, because if they pack it, they also insure it automatically, through them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a win-win, you get it professionally done, hopefully, plus free insurance, and it's good. Which brings me to a question that was brought up about insurance on boxes and stuff. What are your thoughts on that? Do you have limits on insurance? Do you, that kind of thing?
That's tough. It definitely depends on what you're selling. I like shipping priority. I'm not sure if it's a priority on everything, but I know like when you use like priority branded envelope or box, you get like a certain automatic amount of insurance, and that's great. But definitely depends on what you're selling, because I don't sell things that are super high value normally. I'm selling clothing or knickknacks or whatever. I don't worry too much about insurance because it can get really expensive. But like you said, even with using the pack and ship or getting insurance, if you're selling something that's is a really high value, it's definitely worth it. And don't be afraid to pass that cost on to your customer, because if this is the kind of person who says, I want this $400, $500, $1,000, multiple $1,000 item, and they want to cheap out on shipping, that's not the kind of customer that you want.
That's true. Good point.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead. I was just saying, good point.
Well, I guess if there's any other questions in the feed or not before I go on.
Let's see. Not about that. There's one from Picker Smurf. It says, what about cut off print from the frame, roll? Oh, like basically take the print or whatever out of the frame and then roll it and mail it that way. Would that?
Yeah, you know what? I don't advise that at all. I hope he's joking. Yeah, you really want to avoid ship things flat whenever you can. If you take something that is oil or acrylic that's on canvas and you roll it, there's a good chance it's all going to crack and flake right off, and you're going to be in a heap of trouble. When you're altering the material, and it could really affect the value. A lot of artists will sign the stretcher bars on the back, and people, they want that, and yeah, it might be cheaper to ship rolled, but you might not have a very happy customer when it gets there.
Yeah. Now, he did say print, so maybe he's thinking more like, the prints literally, like posters and, that kind of idea too.
That's definitely, if it is a print, I definitely, I take it out of the frame, don't cut it out, but take it out of the frame, and pieces on paper are appropriate to ship rolled, but you might want to ask your customer beforehand, is it okay if I roll this? Because some people might not want that. They don't want to get a piece of artwork that's going to be very curled up when they get it, and they have to go get it flattened. And I know it is very expensive. You're going to add a lot of cost to selling something that's already in a frame, but you got to think that that's a value you're adding, because professional framing, which is actually what I do in my capacity for my job at the gallery now, is incredibly expensive. So it might take a lot longer, and yes, it'll be more expensive to ship, but if you keep something in its original frame, if the frame is in good condition, you're adding value to that artwork. You're going to get a higher value sale.
Definitely.
There's a comment there from Jesse that you might want to read off about.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do. Jesse was saying you can save a ton of money by finding a local box supplier, and most of them would love to have your business, and if they know you're a reseller and going to be a long-time customer. So definitely a good thing there. Good idea.
Yeah, that's great advice. I know that with the gallery, we buy almost all our cardboard from local suppliers, and they will cut you deals. They're good people. They're just trying to make a buck, and if they know that you are too, it's always good to go local. I'm also like the world's biggest fan of Uline for shipping supplies. They are great. Usually everything I order gets here the next day, and you can find just about everything on that site, and the prices are very good. But I also do buy a lot of my shipping supplies on eBay. Just, I might pay a few more bucks here and there, but I think it is really important to pass on, that eBay mentality and shop within eBay and support other people who are doing eBay.
If no other questions in the comments, I got one here.
No, go ahead.
Have you ever made mistakes in your listing for your shipping quotes? Before you answer, I want to explain how this question came about because of my own experience.
Go ahead.
I mentioned it on the Toadcast, I think it was last Friday, or the Friday before when I had my computer problems, that I actually sold an item on 40% sale at like $4 and change. But I only charged $7 in shipping, but it actually cost me $8 and change in shipping, so I ended up losing money all around because it was only a $7 item that I put on sale.
Yeah, I can relate to that story. When I started out, I made mistakes. Everybody's going to make mistakes. You have to make mistakes in order to learn. And I really think, like I said, I do like to use free shipping on almost everything I sell. There's reasons that I've made that choice. It's not for everybody, but I do feel that you rank higher in Cassini searches when you do offer free shipping, because I know one of the things that they look for is in best match includes distance. And if you can appear in a search from somebody who's in 10 states away just as much as, and it makes you look like you're in the same state, you want to be in best match. But if you're going to charge for shipping, which is perfectly fine, and I do charge for shipping on some of my heavier items, it's really important. I know it's really tempting to just say I'm going to select, flat rate, and I'm just going to put a price in. But you don't have to do that. You can let eBay and the USPS, they do all the work for you. If you are prepared, you know what kind of box you're going to use, what size it is, and you put it on your scale that hopefully you bought, you're going to have all the little things that you need to plug in. And then you just wash your hands of it. And it's going to be calculated. I love calculated shipping because there's no guesswork. I know that the customer is going to pay only exactly what they owe. And because of the eBay shipping discount, I'll probably make just like a little bit of money.
Okay. And have you ever had the Frankenstein box or something that you sold on eBay?
Yeah, and I'm not proud of it because it is ugly. I am talking about how much I care about how my packages look, and I had this. It was this brand new with tags like Harley Davidson rolling cooler, and it was just this weirdest shape, and I didn't have a box. Every box that I had was just too big, and I would have had to fill it with all this padding, which would add a bunch of weight to it. And I just took this box and I cut it down, and it was mangled. But the person got it. Luckily, they left me good feedback. But it's embarrassing a little bit. But you just have to be careful with Frankensteining things together because you got to think that be really careful because everything that you add to your package is going to add weight. That's going to affect what the cost is to you or your customer.
Okay. Any questions in the comments? John?
Nope. They're still talking about moonshine and making it, and Alberto came in though. Welcome to Alberto.
I was gonna say I guess they're gonna want a short show if they're not gonna ask questions on shipping here. I'm not gonna fly through all my questions. We're only gonna quarter of an hour already. Okay, well then, since there's no other questions, PayPal gets a questioning. Do you charge tracking for your shipping if you do first class, add it to your price? I know you already said free shipping, but I mean with some of the free first class, it's $1.93 with the tracking. So have you added that into your price at all?
No, I don't. I think that it's just good for peace of mind. Usually, you're only that $1.93 is like the base level. If you have something that's, I think it's under 2 or 3 ounces. Over that, it's just kind of included in the cost of the first class. It's basically quote unquote free when you're putting your labels on eBay. But tracking is really important, especially if you want to keep your top-rated seller status. You've got to put your tracking in within your handling time.
Okay. You got a question, Sean? Oh no, he went away.
Oh, no. Yeah, sorry, I'm here. Yeah.
Well, I can see if you had a question in your head that just popped in or something.
Now, Dusty says, what kind of artwork do you personally like?
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I can answer that question. I like my favorite painters. I really love abstract expressionism, which is like from the 1950s and 60s and like maybe like the late 40s, like Rothko and Motherwell and Pollock and things like that. But obviously, I can't afford any of that kind of stuff. But I do have a small collection of antique prints, which, if you are interested in that kind of material, you can find, I mean, tons and tons of it on eBay, which is where I buy almost all of it. It's just about different kinds of subject matters I like. Like my wife and I really like underwater creatures. So I have prints from like the 16th and 17th century, like which were scientific prints from the time.
Wow.
Of like lobsters and crabs, and
Amazing.
starfish.
Holy moly.
That's the kind of thing that I personally, I have a small collection of those things.
Okay.
Just also asked to use the FOMO method for shipping mugs. Why or why
Oh
not?
man, I was worried that this was going to come up.
Yeah.
I know. I've been thinking about making a video and putting my 2 cents in on like the whole cup thing, because it is like the most hotly debated thing on YouTube. How do you ship a coffee mug? I do ship coffee mugs. I personally love coffee mugs. Like I kind of have a small collection of them, and you know what? Okay, when I first really got into like thrifting for eBay, because I knew a lot about coffee mugs, that's kind of where I started. And I watched a lot of videos like how am I going to ship this? And I got the priority, like they're like a 6x6x7 box. And I'm like,
That's
okay,
what I
I'm going to
use.
do this. I'm going to do this right. I'm going to put it in a box, in a priority box. It's going to be insured. And man, I'm only charging like $15 to $25 for a mug, and like I'm paying like $8-9 for shipping. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. And surprisingly, even though I was boxing it, and obviously, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I know how to package things properly. Within those first couple months of shipping mugs, I probably had 3 or 4 orders obliterated and just shattered inside the priority box. And so I decided if I'm going to keep selling mugs, I want to try something that's going to be less expensive, and hopefully we'll get there in one piece. And I now, for probably the last dozen mugs that I've sold, I put them in a padded flat rate envelope. When I know, a lot of people are like,
Yeah.
whoa, don't shoot me. It's okay. I'm
Alrighty.
your friend. But you know what? You can do it, because obviously it's going to save you some money. But when I do it, I'm very specific about how I do it. If I have happened to scavenge a very small box, like a 6x6x4, I will put the mug inside of there, put extra wrapping around the outside, and then put it inside the envelope. And like I said, I've probably done at minimum a dozen mugs this way, and I've not had a single broken one. If I don't have a small box to put inside the flat rate envelope, I'm lucky enough I can usually scavenge. It's like a corrugated roll. It's like a roll of cardboard. It's like a bee flute, but it's only got like one flat side. And I will set the mug down flat and roll it up. And then that will give you that protection. And the most vulnerable place is is the little handle. You want to make sure that that's the most protected place. So I'll put it inside the corrugated wrap, maybe put an extra layer of foam or bubble wrap, throw it in there, put my packing slip and my little dinosaur. And I haven't had any problems. Maybe I'm just lucky, but as far as I'm concerned, that's the way I'm going to keep going with it.
See, yeah, I think that's where a lot of the debate comes from, because I use the 6x6x7, and I've never had a problem. Now, the ones I've got like 6 of the siren mugs from Starbucks this last Christmas.
Yeah, I saw that.
A little before that.
Sam.
Yeah, that one was pretty scary, honestly. But yeah, I overpacked that puppy. But and it got there, and they were happy, and I got positive feedback. Yeah, it was. But I mean, it for me, it's always worked well. I don't know. I use a lot of bubble wrap in it and paper, so I don't know if that's why. Yeah, but
Yeah, it's definitely worth overpacking things sometimes,
yeah.
even if it's more difficult. I see, actually, in the comments, Pop Picker Dave asked a question. What is the limit on stuffing a flat rate padded envelope? Um, you know what? As far as I know about the padded ones, there isn't a limit. If you can get that sucker taped over,
Mm,
if it fits, it ships. I've never had any problems, and I have, especially with clothing, I like to use those for like my heavier things like jackets. I have stuffed that thing like it was gonna burst like a burrito, man.
yeah.
And you know what? I didn't have a problem. But I know that, especially in some of the groups lately, I've seen that there's a lot of questions about the flat rate, the cardboard or paper envelopes, like what is appropriate to put in there, like how much thickness. And you know what? I think that's kind of like a post office by post office thing. Like
Yeah.
if the corners are broken or kind of opening up, like a lot of post offices will say we won't take it, we can't accept it, and it's kind of just a case by case basis. But definitely, if you're gonna put something in those kind of envelopes, only do it if you think it's going to be safe. And remember to think about too about how professional it's going to look if you stuff something, this poor cardboard envelope to its breaking point, like, oh, this person just,
Yeah.
shove this in here and
Crammed it in
it
there.
looks like crap. There's a lot of things to think about.
Mhm. There's a lot of yeah. Even Dusty said depends on your basically postal person, counter person, or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, and that brings up another little offshoot, but we'll stay on topic. But that's another reason to be, especially if there's only like one or two in your post office and you're dropping stuff off, to be nice no matter what. And because sometimes if they're nice, they'll let you get away with some things sometimes. So like mine, the lady is the grouchiest woman on the planet, I think. But I always make sure she knows that the only time I leave stuff for her to take is if I only have one or two things. Otherwise, I always take it every day. But yeah,
Yeah, a smile can get you a long way. For
yeah,
anybody who might know, the post office I use because it's close to my job is the Fort Dearborn station, which is like right in like the heart of downtown Chicago, and it is one of the busiest post stations like in the country. And that place, they are the surliest, just most meanest freaking
uh,
postal employees. Like they're lazy and surly, like every kind of stereotype you could think of, like a lazy civil servant person, kind of like
it,
originates in this post office. But you know what? I don't care. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to say thank you, and I don't have any problems.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, besides the USPS 3 week boxes that we can all get, what other companies do you use to get boxes that you might need for your shipping?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
What other companies besides USPS do you use to get boxes for your shipping?
Oh, okay. When I first started out, if you have a FedEx account or a UPS account, you can get free supplies, but I don't recommend it. When I started out, I did use some of their boxes to ship stuff through the USPS. I turned things inside out, and the more I did it, I realized, this isn't professional, and you know, it's going to come at a cost to somebody, and it will probably be, yeah, I know UPS and FedEx are like faceless companies, but you got to be careful too, because if you are going to sign up for like an account and you're doing nothing but you're not shipping with them, if you're not shipping with that carrier, and you're just ordering supplies, like they will catch on.
Mm,
But if you're going to use the boxes in envelopes properly, I think it's a really good resource.
And do you do international shipping, and you do it through the global shipping program or for yourself?
Okay, another hot button topic, right? Like the
Mm.
mugs. I use the global shipping program. I love it. I think I had like 3 or 4 international sales just this week, and I think I shipped to Denmark, I shipped to Germany, I shipped to France just in the last couple of days, and it's so easy. I know everybody's afraid of it. Everybody goes, "Oh, what's the GSP?" I'm afraid, I'm nervous, and I'm telling you, just add it on because if you can ship something domestically, there's no difference. All you need to know is where the country of origin of that your item was made. Because if it gets to the warehouse in Kentucky and it doesn't mark, they will open it because they need to determine what country the item originates from. So, I personally love it. I have shipped both ways. I have just shipped with the USPS internationally, just going to the post office and filling out forms. You know what? Neither way is a bad way, but I just think that for me personally, it's easy to ship the GSP, and it does come with certain kinds of it. I'll use the word insurances, but eBay does take your back. If your item makes it to the warehouse in Kentucky safely, you don't have anything to worry about. If it makes it to the customer in the other country, if it's damaged or broken, eBay takes care of it. And if there are problems, if there's negative feedback, eBay has your back because once it makes it to the warehouse in Kentucky, it's their responsibility.
Mm-hmm. Anything in the comments, Sean?
Sorry.
I always test you when you're doing something else.
Yeah, this time I got caught.
Yeah, I see. I see.
You started mentioning the GSP, and I think the last 3 or 4 items I've had that went international went through the GSP, and dude, I kind of love it. I mean,
I love it. The people who are willing. I know people say, "Oh, the people in other countries, they don't want to pay, like the VAT taxes and import taxes." But the people who do shop with the GSP, they're good people. I think every international sale I've ever had, they leave me feedback right away, and they're not afraid to spend the money because a lot of these things they can't get in their country, or can't get easily, or as cheaply as I'm selling them. So they're willing to pay that extra cost. And I did see in the feed there, Alabama Dusty was saying, he's close to the warehouse in Kentucky, and I probably am biased because it's in Kentucky and I'm in Chicago, and I know that anything I ship is going to be cheap and it's going to be fast. So if you are in a different part of the country, you might have more to worry about. But I do recommend it, or at least that you try it. There's no harm in trying it. But you're going to get more sales if you do offer international shipping. We really do live in a global marketplace. It's amazing. I know one of my favorite stories that I'll tell people about like shipping internationally is I went to the thrift store, and this particular thrift store is it's 3 floors, and like the bottom floor is like all the knickknacks, and it's just damp, musty, gross basement. And I saw like this big Ziploc container that you would almost put like a set of sheets in, and right away I'm like, oh my god, like there are action figures in there. And I opened this up, and it was like this time capsule from my childhood. Like there were like Ninja Turtles and Thundercats and wrestling figures. Like whoever owned these toys was like my age. And I'm like, my mind is just being blown. Now, a lot of them weren't valuable, and a lot of them, like the previous owner, had taken like Sharpie and done stuff on them. So I did leave a lot of it. But one of the things that I found in there was a Michael Knight from Knight Rider action figure.
Wow.
Nice. So maybe like a 4 or 5 inch action figure. And I was super excited. Rock on, Knight Rider. I go home and I list it, and like that night, bam, somebody in Australia buys it, and it just blows my mind that you can pick something out of like a dusty thrift store basement, and it will sell right away. Like that person was waiting for me to put that online, and they bought it, and they paid full price. They paid to have it shipped to Australia, and I think that that's amazing, and that really is like the power of eBay. It's the power of the global marketplace.
Yeah. I don't know if it's still true, but David Hasselhoff in Germany is huge. So it's kind of
Yeah.
go do some research and see if that's still true. But I don't know why, but he is big time over there. So put all your David Hasselhoff stuff on eBay Germany.
Oh, he's the Hoff man.
Yeah.
Don't mess with the Hoff.
Okay, now you said you get clothes in the poly bag. Were you ever afraid of it with the way sometimes they use a hook to grab the packages and stuff like that, that your clothes might get daggered?
It is something to be concerned about, but you know what? A lot of that stuff is just out of your hands. And if a customer gets something that is damaged, I offer full refunds. I offer free return shipping. I do the hassle-free returns. Like, to me, I don't worry about that kind of stuff. You can't worry about it because, even when I'm shipping things, through my day job with the gallery, there's only so much you can protect a priceless piece of artwork. Somebody might drive a forklift through it, but you just do your best, you package it properly, and there's just things that are out of your hand. But when bad things happen, you just got to take it in stride and do the right thing. But I because I sell a lot of clothing, and I don't have a lot of. We're in like a 2-bedroom condo, like my wife and my daughter, and we don't have like a lot of closet space. And my clothing inventory is growing and growing, and I was just keeping everything like just loose in like a box, and I would fold it neatly after I listed it, but I'm rummaging through and everything's getting unfolded, and I started to realize everything now is put in a clear poly bag, and I can very easily visually identify it. It's folded neatly. It doesn't come unfolded. It goes inside of like a Rubbermaid container, like a standard size, and I can fit anywhere from 20 to 30 shirts in it, or pairs of pants. I can visually identify it very quickly, pull it out. It's neat. It doesn't smell from all the other clothing, and it's ready to ship. And I will just put it inside of my green poly mailer, and I'm ready to go. And that extra layer of poly, that clear poly bag, does give it that extra layer of protection from like abrasion or gouges during shipping. So I actually really love these poly bags. I've started using them for almost everything because you really do want to have like a certain level of like water protection and abrasion protection, even from like when you imagine you have a pair of shoes and you just put them loose inside the bag, and everything is gonna rub all over each other, and it's gonna show up damaged. So really if you have multiple items that are going inside of a box, like a pair of shoes or anything like that, it's really good to have like a second layer of protection inside your bag or your box to prevent water damage, to prevent damage from the elements, and to prevent the item from even damaging itself.
Okay. Unless there's something in the comments, Sean.
Thoughts, prayers, wishes, positive thoughts, all that to Country Girl's daughter-in-law. She had emergency surgery, but she's home. So.
Well, hopefully she heals fast.
Yeah.
Yep. All the best thoughts.
Okay.
Other than that.
You brought these companies up earlier. About having an account with them. Do you personally use FedEx and UPS for shipping out of your eBay store?
You broke up just a little bit. Can you repeat?
You brought these up before. Do you personally use FedEx and UPS to ship out of your stores?
Yes, I do. I do use. I really like doing everything inside of eBay, so I will use FedEx occasionally. I have shipped things UPS because UPS is just convenient for me, but it's really important that you make sure you go in and put your UPS tracking information in because that won't happen automatically. And but FedEx is good. They can save you money, but it's really important that you just go through all your options. Like if you spend just a little bit of time, going through everything, you choose what is the best service and price for you and your customer. I know I have used that FedEx Smart Post in the past, and frankly, it doesn't save me that much money. And I've heard a lot of people complain about just how slow the items get there. So, but the eBay shipping discount for priority is so awesome. Like I've shipped things that are like 40% off, and to me, it's going to get there in the minimum for like 3 days, and if it's a buck or two more, even if I will pay for it out of pocket because I know I'm going to have a happy customer.
I see a question here, Sean, in our private chat. Didi, any advice on shipping big set of vintage plates 24 pieces?
Yeah, that's a scary one. So I would. You know what? That's tricky. I would definitely, if you're not going to wrap each plate individually, which you probably won't, because it's going to create like a lot of volume inside your box. At least put maybe like a layer of maybe a thin foam or something between each plate, and then wrap those plates tightly together so it's like becomes one unit. You don't want them floating around inside your box. And then, if you're going to use like a single wall box, put it in there, pack it tightly. You might actually want to double box it, where you're going to set that initial box inside of a larger box that is going to have more foam or peanuts, because it's going to absorb that shock and allow that kind of floating action. Like, one of the things that I really learned about shipping that stood out to me, especially when I started shipping professionally, was, did you ever do that experiment, like when you're in elementary school, where like you'd go to like the top of the building and you drop an egg, and like you'd have to like build a contraption, try to have that egg survive. It's all about like the people who survive that drop are the people who figured out that if you have your items suspended in like it's inside of something else, like it will survive. You don't want to have the item moving back and forth inside the box. If you can have it held tightly, kind of float it all the way around, you're going to have a lot better luck getting that item somewhere intact.
It's ironic we're talking about shipping, and I got a sale.
Oh, very good.
All right.
So I sold another one of my patterns that I got for a $6 pile. So, and I'm selling it in a Scotch bubble mailer, which is a size 2. So for people that might need the patterns, that's an idea for you.
Do you buy your padded mailers in bulk, or do you like just go to like Walmart as you need them?
I actually go to Kmart myself, but that's...
Or Kmart,
I don't have the volume yet to buy my own supplies yet. Not necessarily have the room either.
No, I gotcha. I was just going to recommend, if you do start to get high volume sales, really you should try to buy all your packaging supplies, or the packaging supplies you choose to buy in bulk, because it will save you a lot of money.
Yeah, I tried doing it where I can at the same time. I tried seeing what's on sale and grabbing it at the same time. So I just figured
That's all good.
I just figured I'd share that because I was shocked when I was told that we got a ching.
No, that's awesome. I love watching all the reseller shows, and I'll hear kachings in the background, and I'm like, what did they sell? What did they sell? And then they don't say anything.
Yeah. They're just like,
Oh, you muted yourself, Sean.
Whoops.
Well, oh, he said sorry, back. Okay, I guess something happened. And another, well, my basically last question, unless there's something else in the comments that you can see.
I haven't seen much else in the comments.
Any tips you have learned that you care to pass on? I know you've passed on a couple, but I mean, anything that we haven't covered?
I mean, I think we've covered most of it. It's just really pay attention to the details, because not only does it will save you money in the end, but it's just going to help you look more professional to your buyer, and that really, it's really important. And you know, be clean about and smart about the kind of things you choose, materials you choose to ship in, and make sure you're going in. You know, eBay provides you a lot of tools, and it doesn't all have to be guesswork. And utilize it, because it will save you money, and just be prepared. You know, your goal on eBay is to sell things, so you don't want to be caught unprepared. Have the proper tools and materials you need to ship your item.
Okay, let's see. Well, Dixie Girl has a question. I don't know if you can answer this one. By the way, hi, accountant guy. She says eBay told her recently that if an item is listed for less than $25, you can't use global shipping. Anyone aware of that?
I have heard that. I don't remember. I think you heard it on another podcast or maybe in one of the groups. But honestly, I'm not sure what they're talking about. It may have to do with maybe a specific kind of category. But I know that I've sold quite a few things global shipping under $25 even recently, and I haven't had any issues. But I have heard that. So I'm sorry, I don't have a specific answer.
Let's see what else we can find in the feed, if anything. I'm basically out of my questions. So, Maurice says Floyd says he has never heard of that, and all his items are GSP. And Joseph Harris says he sold something for $6.95 to France. So,
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's an odd one, but I have heard that recently, but I haven't been able to figure out what they're talking about.
okay. John, I don't know if you heard that question, or Dixie Girl asked about GSPs. You were telling her that you can list things under $25.
Like,
There's a lot of people in the comments, and Matt has said that he sold stuff that's under $25 through GSP. So
yeah, I've had a couple things for under 25, so yeah, I haven't heard that either.
Something
Yeah,
that
definitely go in. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say that's something that we should look into. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I'll keep looking into it, and I will post anything I find on the Facebook pages. But go in and really check. You know, it's another tip that I might have about shipping is really pay attention to your listings and make sure that you have everything selected properly, because sometimes I'll be blowing through listings and I'll miss something. People, you'll forget to mark free ship. You'll mark things free shipping when you wanted to have it paid. Don't rush. Make sure everything is selected properly, because you don't want to have an accident for sure.
Yeah.
And I know that's also a problem, because I know when I will find something, obviously when I'm doing my research, I'll find like a similar item, and I'll click, sell similar, and that whatever that person might have had set up for shipping might not be what you wanted. So really make sure you're paying attention to all those settings.
And Dusty says never take a tip, never take wooden nickels. I've sold lots of wooden nickels for some good money. don't count them out.
Sean, how do you ship a wooden nickel?
Well, I was selling them in lots, so I just threw them in a Ziploc bag and threw them in a padded flat rate envelope.
Okay, well that works.
Yeah.
well, I'll keep this going for about another 15 minutes or so. I know we just broke the 40 viewer mark. We've been hovering about 38 all night. So if there's any last minute questions, please get them in, and then we'll start doing our goodbyes. We apparently are not going to be hitting our 2 hour mark more often. So we're going to stick to an hour and a half unless enough topic comes in to.
Yeah, Dixie Girl. Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
Well, I was just going to
No,
say.
I was just going to say that shipping is a boring and complicated topic, and people like me are kind of nerds about it. So to me, shipping is like a puzzle. Like how am I going to get this to where it needs to go? What kind of materials do I need to use? And to me, it's fun. I really enjoy shipping, but I know, it's a tough subject, especially to cover in a short period of time.
I said I agreed with you, and then just as you said, you're a nerd about it, or whatever you said, and so yeah, I wasn't calling you that, but I was agreeing, and then you said that, and I laughed. Yeah, I'm weird. Don't continue on. Question: have you ever run into a tiny cowboy that looks like Owen Wilson late at night in the gallery or museum? $5 says you know who that's from.
No, I have not. I have yet to have any kind of supernatural experiences inside of a gallery or museum.
That'd be kind of cool, though. Picker Smurf says is a shipping procedure on Etsy similar to eBay?
You know what? I'm sorry, I can't answer that question. I've only dabbled with setting up an Etsy store, and I have not actually made like a successful sale on it. But I think there are definitely some differences, and definitely check out their web pages to see what it kind of thing it is.
Okay, I'm gonna put this out there right now. We have 40 viewers and or viewers in the future that come on after I upload this. If you are an Etsy seller and you are well versed in it, and you would like to be on the R show with me or Cool Toes, and we will make it happen.
Chris, I will second that. Etsy is fascinating, but like a complete mystery to me. I've tried to set up an Etsy store so many times, and I just get lost and stuck. It's so different than any other platform. So if you get somebody on who's going to talk about Etsy, I will be like front row center.
Well, you've been front row center since the 3rd episode, so what's the difference?
Yeah.
All right, you got me there.
There's a Texas auction picker, Michael Baumberger, says he sees a lot of people in Facebook groups advocating using things like cereal boxes or frozen food boxes for shipping. What do you think of this? Now, Dusty repeated, I think those people should quit selling. I fully agree. That is stupid. I'm all for reuse and all that, reduce, reuse and all that, but come on. I got a Hot Wheel one time that I bought in a freaking hot chocolate box. Come on, people. There
has to be a little bit somewhere.
Yeah.
Picker Smurf, that's a great question. I see that stuff in the Facebook groups too, and I totally agree with Chris and Sean and Dusty. It is quit selling. If you don't care about your items, you don't care about taking the time into shipping them and packaging them correctly, you shouldn't be selling. You really shouldn't, because you're not going to go anywhere. People are not going to be happy. They're not going to think it's funny when they get that stuff, and it just makes you look amateur and incompetent.
Yeah. And worst of all, I mean, the Hot Wheel I got, they just threw it in there, and it damaged the card. So it was like, what, really?
Oh yeah, especially when it comes to collectibles. Don't mess around with collectibles. People who collect things, I'm sure they talk about that on like the Collector's Catacomb and things like that. People who collect things are picky. Like I've sold vintage action figures and stuff like that, and they don't get no pickier than that. Like you do not want to mess with that, And I can luckily say that, because I pay attention to how I ship things. Like my comments, I get emails and comments all the time in my feedback saying, this is the best package shipping item I've ever had on eBay, and man, that makes me feel like I did my job right. It makes me want to do an even better job.
No. That was Michael Baumberger, by the way. He says, I'm not Picker Smurf.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I
Then
see
he
the
says, as
country.
wonderful as a person, I'm sure Picker Smurf is.
My sincerest apologies, Mr. Baumberger. I saw that Picker Girl asked, saying, yeah, you get your priority boxes for free on the USPS website. Just be really careful because there is a setting where you can buy prepaid boxes and envelopes. You do not want to do that because that is going to be super expensive. Don't buy prepaid stuff. Make sure you're getting the free ones that you pay once you print out your label.
Or you can go to the
Definitely.
number and get more than what's allotted on the website.
Yeah, you know what? It's easy to have your eyes be bigger than your shipping stomach, but you know what? You don't want to end up sitting on all that kind of stuff. And you know what? If you do, and this actually has happened to me recently, I ordered too many of like the regional B boxes, and I realized that like I'm never going to use these things. And I've been in thrift stores, and people donate them, and the thrift store puts a price on it, and that, first of all, that's ridiculous. But don't throw them away either, because if you're misusing the free supplies from the post office, if you're throwing away or misusing it, the price is going to go up for all of us. If you order too many like extra supplies from the post office, take it back to the post office. They will accept it.
I might actually, now you mentioned it, I might actually think about putting some up on my Facebook group, not my group, but the local groups, because we accidentally ordered many Game Boy boxes and shoe boxes because we didn't know that each case came with 25 or whatever it was in a box. So it's like we ordered 5 cases, and all of a sudden we're like, okay, 5 of them. Wait a minute, what's this at the door? So, and I know I still have all that stuff, and it's not like I sell shoes. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, you brought up the collector's catacomb. Definitely a good thing to watch, to look at if you're interested in that kind of stuff. Because I mean, they come up with some great stuff, a lot of good info. So definitely want to check them out on Thursday nights. Definitely cool, and they have a website too. That's Eric, by the way. Eric
Yeah.
and Dan and all them. Chad.
This is a really great show, and it just when you're selling things, no matter what it is, you really want to get in the mind of your buyer and realize like why they want these things, and realize they're probably they're spending their hard-earned money and they're excited about it. And if you throw it together sloppily and it gets there damaged or it just doesn't look good, like that excitement is going to go way down, and you're probably not going to get, if you do get feedback, it's probably not going to be very good feedback.
True.
okay, anything else in the comments? I see we got a new viewer or a new reseller that just made a comment.
Mm-hmm. Scott Edwards said I'm new, but thanks to people like Cool Toads, Alabama Picker, Global Voodoo, whoops, there we go. Let's try to, there we go. Looking forward to my new job.
Well, welcome to the ranks. Learning.
Always be learning. Always be learning.
Caesar's Palace is a little early as usual.
Hello, Caesar.
Yeah, Mr. Sadie, what's up, man? Welcome.
Hey, Mr. Sadie, you show up just when we're unless you got questions that we can answer. We're going to be closing down in about 5 to 6 minutes. My time, man. I think there's comments that are being said that somebody thinks that they should be saved for the Toadcast.
Where? Oh, because of Caesar's. Yeah.
Well, I think there are some more. Yeah. Well, like I said, I don't have any more questions, so if there are any out there, please get them in now, and we'll keep this going. If not, I'll start doing our goodbyes, because I do have special information. Well, actually, I should say Scott's going to announce our special guest in 2 weeks, since he's the one that's been working on this guest for a while.
Oh, in 2 weeks? Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's young. Yeah, we're going to have Retro Aficionado on in a couple of weeks. Now, he did say something about what the heck they call them? Bachelor party.
Oh.
And I told him it'd be later in the evening though on Sunday, so hopefully so it's like 95%, but yeah, he should be here definitely.
Well, if he's running away, we can always cover him like we have for others. And next week the last I knew it was confirmed that Mr. H of Spokane Pickers was returning to try to recover the store boots that we were covering the last time he was on when I had a computer crash. So,
one more question. Roxy wants to know what's the best tape to use when shipping the heavy artwork that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that's a good question. I wouldn't recommend using twine or rope because that can get caught on the inside of the machinery. If you really want to invest, you might want to try to see if you can pick up 1 or 2 rolls. It's usually white. It's a tape. It's like a packaging tape, but it has like a monofilament inside, like strands inside, and that stuff is just tough as nails, and it will not break. It absolutely will not break. If you don't want to buy that, you might want to upgrade to 3-inch wide tape. I use 3-inch wide on almost everything. I know a lot of people use like a 2-inch wide because it's less expensive, but that extra inch can give a lot of extra gripping power.
That's what she said. Sorry.
Whoa!
You know. Yeah, definitely that twine is crazy. And I was laughing too because Alabama Pickers said the sticky kind, so yeah. Oh, OG Picker. I think I forgot to shout out the OG Picker earlier. He says Piggly Wiggly shopping bags and twine rocks. Obviously not serious.
well, I think maybe Dan's got to change his YouTube name to the OG Picker so we know it's him.
Yeah.
And I saw Chad made a comment that he's been listening the whole time he's been listening, which I'm glad to hear.
Yeah,
I know sometimes he says he's going to go to bed during the show, and I understand with all his different hours that he gets up and works. So.
This is not the Toadcast. Sorry, guys. Hey, I had to throw it in there a little bit.
Well, let's see. I'm gonna make fun of myself. If you didn't catch it, I don't know why nobody did on Tuesday, Friday. I didn't even catch it when we started.
I didn't even see it. Yeah.
Nobody caught me actually not catching my drool. Come on, people! You're supposed to make fun of me too.
I want to be made fun too. Damn it.
Well, I'm saying,
fair is fair, man.
But on other shows you can. Or at least on the Toadcast when I'm there on occasion.
Yeah.
I don't get that offensive. I had to see it on tape thanks to my wife. Nobody else told me.
Change your name through Google Plus. Or actually, you go to your name on YouTube as well, and then I think you can right-click it. I think on your channel. Something like that. Yeah, but I think it takes you to Google Plus too. You have to do it through there.
Well, any other questions about the topic, or Matt? Since I know he's new to the community, this is the first live show that I know of. So I want to thank you again for being on.
The first one. Well, thank you. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, like I said, I enjoy being a part of this community, and it's been really enriching. And I definitely will continue to watch both yours and Sean's show.
Hopefully with like earphones on when you watch mine. Since you have a 2-year-old.
Earmuffs.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
Like I said, next week we will be having Spokane Pickers on again. And Retro Aficionado on the 29th. Nothing planned after that, so if you'd like to be on or have a topic you'd like us to cover starting next month, like I said, get a hold of us and let us know.
You need to get some more new blood into the shows. People like Joseph Hare need to come out of the woodwork, and yeah, Mr. Sadie should come out and visit some of the shows. Ah,
I know. And I'm also trying to way back when was thinking about trying to bring in some of the old blood, but they didn't want to come back. So
uh,
like Glendon and so.
oh yeah.
Well, I figured if he says no, most of the others won't.
Yeah, that's a pretty tough area to be treading in.
Well, I figured I watched them for
For
how.
shot, yeah. All I can say is no.
Yeah, and at least they could. At least I'm trying. It's not like I'm just saying no. I listened to them. I watched them for however many years before I started. So.
Yeah.
Oh, anything else in the comments, Sean? Before I say our good night, since they're after the half hour.
Not anything that I can repeat.
Okay then. Well, with that, I will say good night, and I will.
Oh, wait. And that moral stuff from the thrifting Collector's Catacomb just came in, too, as well. He says, great show, guys. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Dan.
Okay, now go ahead.
Hey, Dan. I wish you been listening like Chad's been.
No, he's been watching. He just hadn't been chatting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I'm going to say good night. I guess we'll shoot for an hour and a half show from now on, Sean. It seems that's what our limit has been going. Unless we get a good enough topic that can go an extra half hour.
Cool. No, a lot of people love the show, so
Yeah, it's really great.
Almost everybody has said great show and stuff. So yeah.
Really, thank you both, and thank you for
It's
everybody.
been awesome.
Everybody showing up in the chat. I really appreciate it. And I usually am on like the Reseller Society posting stuff, and sometimes in your and Sean's group, the National Reseller Advice Group, and my eBay store and my YouTube channel are all underneath the Dino Dump. If anybody wants to check that out. Oh, and based on the last meet and greet from last Wednesday, I did start a small business page on Facebook, also under the Dino Dump. So if anybody ever has questions about shipping, I totally am happy to help or give advice, point you in the right direction.
Well, I already liked your page, so.
Thank you.
I think I did too. Did I?
Hey, you want to ask me any comments before I say goodnight again?
Jeff David says a great show. What I caught of it.
Thank
right.
you.
That's it.
And with that, I will say good night and see you all next week, or I'll see you Friday on the Toadcast.